Good morning all of you. This is Anand Joshi from College of Management, TMIMT, Tirthankar Mahavir University. Going on with the lectures in the series of HRM, Human Resource Management. So in the previous lectures, we were going on with functions of HRM. When we talk about the functions of HRM, then the functions of HRM can be categorized into two broad categories. Managerial function and operative function. In the previous session, we have discussed about both the categories managerial and operative. That how HRM is dealing with both the types of categories, whether managerial or operative. Because if you talk about human resource management, then we are talking about a field which has to deal with both the aspects. You have to manage the human resource, and at the same time, if you are feeling lack of human resource or you require human resource with some extra caliber, some extra quality, some extra skill, then also you have to go for recruitment and selection, and that too as per the need and requirement of the organization. So today we will be discussing operative functions first in detail. Not in much detail, because many of the terminologies which we will be going to discuss today in operative functions will be discussed later as a whole topic in our coming syllabus. Right now we will be discussing them in very brief so that we can have an idea that what is it all about. So let's start with details of operative functions of HRM. The first one says procurement. When I talk about procurement, then it means that taking human resource or recruiting human resource from outside the organization. Every time if we talk about human resource, then human resource cannot be arranged within the organization. We have to procure it from or outsource it from outside the organization. Now, procurement is not such an easy task, because before procuring or before recruiting, selecting the human resource for the organization, we have to undergo a very large process, and that large process includes various steps which has to be followed one by one, so that we can have good quality workforce with us, so that our organization can have a good quality team for achieving and accomplishing the goals of the organization. So when I talk about procurement, it includes job analysis and design. Job analysis and design means to first analyze the job and to design it as per the requirement, because until unless you analyze the complete task, you will be not able to knowing that what to do, and how you will be guiding your employee or subordinate or your lower managers that what they have to perform in that particular job, until unless you yourself will be knowing about. So these two terms, analysis and design, means that what are the basic, analyze the basic content of the job and design them accordingly. Second, human resource planning. Now you have to plan that what kind of and what nature of human resource do you require, because until unless you go for such selection or such shortlisting, you will be not able to put right place at right person. And human resource planning not only includes putting right person at right place, it also includes getting the right person for the work or for the workplace, because the team which will be combining or which will be forming your human resource should be such that they will be able to achieve or accomplish your organization goals, and organizational goals are made or they are totally covered with individual goals. When an individual is having its own personal goals, then they collectively make organizational goals, and for which all the efforts has to be moved into the same direction. So human resource planning means planning about the employees, planning about the human resource, and planning about the requirement and need of the employees. Second, next it says recruitment. Recruitment, as we have discussed earlier also, simply a process of making the people aware about the nature of vacancies and the eligibility criteria for the same, and to ask them apply for those particular vacancies or positions in the organization. Recruitment is, that's why, said to be a positive process, a positive step, because what we are doing, we are only inviting applications from prospective candidate, from eligible candidate for the vacant positions. Next we come to selection. Now after recruiting, when we receive n number of applications, the next step is of selection. First of all, eligible candidates are shortlisted on the basis of their resumes which they have sent for applying, or we can say the application form they have filled on a website or the media which we have opted for. Then making a complete process after checking their testimonials, after having a PI, if we like we can also have a written, then finalizing the final candidate. So that is selection. Next we come to placement. Now once we have selected the candidates, once we have selected the employee, the newly selected team should be placed at their workplace or at right place. So this is what is placement, because until unless the persons are placed at their right place, they will be not able to work, because everyone wants to work according to his or her specialization, and specialization also leads to motivation, and it also leads to increase in our profits, and it also leads to good work, production, productivity, everything, because when a person is having the work in which he or she is having an expertise, then only he or she will be feeling like to work, they will be motivated, they will be encouraged, and they will be working with full enthusiasm and energy. Next we come to orientation. Orientation means simply a program to make familiar the newly joined employees with the organization, its rules, its policies, its procedures, because until unless one is knowing about that how the organization works, we have various types of plans and policies and procedures, then how I will be able to work according to them. How I will be coming to know that what are the leave rules, what are the timings, what are the break timings, what are the other official rules related. So orientation means making the newly joined employees familiar with the organization, that whether before starting with your work, you should know that how an organization works and how this organization works, what are the various rules, plans, procedures. So these rules, plans and procedures are basically the working criteria, or we can also say the guideline. Next we come to socialization. Socialization means making the newly joined employees familiar with the existing employees, because what is human? Human is a social being. He or she needs to talk to someone, he or she needs to communicate with someone, but until unless we are having a small program, or we are having a small get together of newly and existing employees, it will be very difficult for one to get familiar with the another one. So this is the next task. Next, moving to development. When I talk about development, then I basically talk about developing the personalities of the employees. Because whenever you join an organization, it doesn't mean that you are having all the qualities, all the traits, all the characteristics which are required for work. Many of the characteristics are being developed after working for many years, because you are getting some new experience, you are working on some new technologies, you are working on some new techniques. So for working on new technologies and techniques, you have to be developed. Many times it requires that you have to develop your personality, you have to develop your communication, because every time if I feel like that I am perfect, so it's not possible. I am not perfect. What I have to do is I have to develop myself, and for this organization is very much responsible. HRM is very much responsible, because they have to be concerned what their employees require, or what are the needs of the organization. Are the employee fulfilling them, or you require any extra effort? So development means developing the overall personality of the employees. Next, career planning and development. Career planning and development means that your organization can also help you in making your future career more good. what are the requirements, what is going on in the society, so that if you go for some higher positions, if you go for some higher achievements, you should be perfect, you should be well trained and developed within the organization itself, so that you must not feel that when you are applying or when you are going for higher positions and designations with more responsibilities and authorities, you will be facing any kind of problem. No, it's not like that. So career planning and development is also a part of HR. Then workers training, various trainings have to be given, because whenever techniques change, technologies change, everyone is not familiar with that. If I talk about simply shifting from manual to computerization, it also requires a training period. Unless your employees are well trained on computers, they will be not able to do your work properly, and at the same time you will be also facing the problem, because your productivity will be affected. They will be not giving you the same percentage of production which they will be giving you after getting training on computers. They will be well versed with the technique, they will be well versed with the technology, and they will be giving their maximum output or efforts. So organization will also be developing very well. This is the next point, executive development. Executive development basically means that development which is required for higher designation, higher position. Because when you join an organization, you are totally, completely a fresher sometime, or sometimes you will be having some experience, but you will be requiring more experience, you will be requiring more development, so that if you are having an opportunity for promotion, you are having an opportunity for another task, another assignment, you can perform it very well. So executive development means overall development with relation to managerial aspect, with relation to your decision making power, with relation to your relations with the employees. Everything is required. At higher level, if you think about that you will not requiring extra skills, then it's not like that. You require extra skills, and those skills must be related with your assignment, with your task, with your job responsibilities and authorities. Next, moving to organizational development. When your employee develop, when you are having a good trained and developed team, then only your organization also develop. Because development of an organization is not individual development, it is the development of whole team. And when that team collectively moves, when that team collectively works, then it lead to organizational development. Because organizational development is the efforts of all the employees. When all the employees move in the same direction and it did not be achieved at an individual level. Any person individually or solely cannot develop the organization unless it have full support from its task force or team members or workforce. So this is what is known as organizational development. Next, moving to compensation. When I talk about compensation, then I am talking about the most crucial and important part for an employee. Every employee works only for financial benefits, and until unless those financial benefits are satisfied and he or she is contented completely with those financial incentives, the motivation or the confidence level or the enthusiasm within him or her does not come up, and they sometimes or many times they don't feel like to work, because they feel like that when they are underpaid, they are not getting for how much efforts they are giving to the organization, for what maximum output they are giving to the organization, then they are not at all ready to work on that level which they are supposed to. So organizational compensation basically deals with all those financial benefits, or we can say financial incentives, which you are providing to your employees, because financial incentives make an important part of your motivation factor, of your encouragement factor, of your working satisfaction level. Next, coming to job evaluation. Now when I talk about compensation, under this the first point is job evaluation. Job evaluation is, as I told you earlier also, that we will be discussing all those points in coming future in detail. So I'll be just making you brief or familiarize with these topics. Detail will be discussed further. When I talk about job evaluation means that what and how the employee is performing. His job is to be evaluated. In the same manner, when an student write exam copy and that is being evaluated by the evaluator in the second step. In the same manner, when an employee performs his work, then that job is evaluated by his superiors, evaluated by top management, or we can also have a 360-degree performance appraisal. It is directly related to your performance. So the main work under compensation is evaluating the job, that how the employee has performed his or her task, whether he is able to come up as per the need and requirement, or he or she is not able to come up as per the need and requirement. That is all done into job evaluation. Then performance evaluation. When we evaluate the job, evaluating the job means evaluating the complete task. The second step comes is performance evaluation. This is what is job evaluated. Now it means how you have performed under the job, whether you have performed as per the requirement of the job or there was something missing. If something missing, then your performance promotions, your salary increment will be depending upon that, and you will be getting your increments only as per that what you have done or how you have performed. So this is what is known as performance evaluation. Wages administration. Wages administration means managing the salaries and wages of the employees, because time to time we had to upgrade or revise the salary scale of our employees as per the external factors, we can say, as per the requirement of the society, we can say, as per the inflation rate, we can say. Everything has to be considered when you are revising salary grade or salary structure of your employee. Then you have to consider many external factors also, because until unless those external factors are considered, the salary revised may not be appropriate as per the requirement. So for this, what you have to do, you have to revise the salary keeping in mind all the external and important factors required, which can be the benchmark for an employee. Those factors should be properly considered, and a proper attention should be given while you are revising the salary. Next we come to incentives and benefits. Incentives means extra incentives. Suppose you have given some kind of target to your employees, or you, for any particular month, we have to produce more units. For in this, what we does, we pay incentives, or we are having sales force with us, or we are having marketing type of job with us. Then all these are interlinked with incentives. Salary plus incentives. Incentives are given to those if you are performing very well. If you have achieved your targets, then you will be paid extra incentives other than salary. So paying incentives or extra benefits also bring a kind of raise, or we can say high in the motivational factor of the employees, because when you get something extra, you feel like that you are getting more, so you can do more because you are paid more. So you are within your internal consign make you to go for more and more work to get more and more targets achieved, so that you can get more and more incentives. Benefits, in benefits we can say that educational benefit we can give to the employees, like we are paying the tuition fee for the children, or we are giving medical benefits for the employees, or we are providing transportation facility from to and fro, from home to office and from office to home. We are sometimes we can also provide tiffin facility to our employees, that we are having a canteen where the lunch for all the employees it is provided at sometimes at subsidized rate or discounted rate or free. We can also give, because these type of benefits, they does nothing, they create a sense of belongingness among your employees. When your employees are getting something extra, then it means they become more and more attached towards the organization. Their dedication, their attachment, their belongingness, the percentage of all this rise. Why? Because you are having more and extra from your organization, and if you are not having all those type of factors, then sometimes you become dissatisfied and it leads to low productivity. It sometimes leads to demoralization or demotivation of the employees. Next we come to maintenance and motivation. Now maintenance and motivation, when I talk about maintenance, means that you have to maintain the organization, because if we are not having a good amicable environment in the organization, then having a good motivated task force is not possible, or it is very tough, because the working environment also plays an important role for employees motivation. The working environment also plays a very important role in higher productivity, because the place where you are coming in, the place where you are working, it is very important aspect that particular place should be in such a manner that you are feeling like that you are working at ease and you are at very comfort zone. So all that can only be brought when you are having a good environment, because if good environment is missing, it can lead to very big problems or drastic problems also. Your employees will not be supporting you when you need or require much of the support from your employees, then that thing can be absent. So what we have to do, we have to bring all those factors into our organization that can make our employees more attached, more dedicated towards the organization, and this is what is said to be sense of belongingness or sense of attachment. Moving to the next point, employee well-being. So under this, first of all, what we have to consider, the main area of concern is employee well-being. Employee well-being includes all those factors which are core or primary for welfare of the employees, because if your employees are welfare, they are getting their all those aspects which are required, it means that they will be more dedicated, they will be more attached toward the organization, and they will be giving their maximum output. That is what is required, because until unless your employees are feeling that they are supported, they are protected, they are safe and secure, they will be not so much attached to you, because they will be having a fear that they don't know what happened the very next day. And what we have to do is, we have to make them totally safe and secure. That is employee well-being. So second, we said social security. When I talk about social security, then I am talking about a point which means that employees should be socially open with their superiors, their colleagues, their peer teams, because when you are spending such a 8 to 10 hours at a place, then you must have some relations, and informal group also develop. We can say code which makes us familiar with others, which makes us conversate with others, which make us communicate with others, that feel also develop. You have some good friends, you have some peers, you have some good team with you, and that team has to be managed in such a manner that you never feel alone. An employee should never feel aloof in the organization, because if you are feeling lonely or aloof in the organization, that can be a big cause of your low productivity. That can be a big cause of your low motivation. That can be a big cause of your demoralization. So social security means that with safety, with salary, socially your employee should also be secured. Moving to the next, workers' participation. Yes, very correct. When we talk about workers' participation, then we are talking about if we are taking any core decisions related to the organization or related to the work of any particular department, then we should have same percentage of participation of the workers also. When we are taking the decisions solely, individually, at top level only, then it can bring a kind of grudge, or it can bring a kind of dissatisfaction within the employees, because it happens when the decisions are taken or when the decisions are done at top level and they are simply moved to lower level for application, implementation and signature, then such type of decisions will bring a great percentage of discouragement or a great percentage of dissatisfaction, and which can become a cause or a reason for low productivity or absentees or any other kind of factor within the employees. Motivation, employees should be motivated. Yes, when your employees are not motivated, they are not getting, motivational feel time to time, then you don't think that you will be having a good workforce for a longer time. So your employees should be motivated, because motivation of employees plays a very crucial role in an organization. A motivated workforce or a motivated team is the main core aspect of an organization, while a dismotivated or a dissatisfied team full of grudges or any kind of complaints cannot lead or cannot bring up with the same appropriate level of productivity or success that we require. So motivation is the most important aspect, that your employees should be filled with energy, they must be filled with enthusiasm, and they must be having a complete sense of belongingness towards their organization. Moving to the next, job rotation. When I talk about job rotation, then I am talking about a technique, or I am talking about a process, or I am talking about a concept where what we does, we rotate employee from one job to another after a certain time period. It doesn't mean that profitability, and it will never lead to maximum and good production, because every time when you are rotating your employee, or every time when you are putting your employee at some different place, what you have to do is you have to keep in mind the expertise or specialization. You have, if you want to rotate the task of your employee, that should be done within his expertise or his area of specialization. The job rotation is basically done so that we can develop and we can, bring some more talent into our employee, and or we can say also so that preparing the employee for higher challenges or higher designations or higher positions. So job rotation is not a negative aspect, it is a positive aspect only when done as per the area of specialization and expertise, because a day comes in the life of every employee that he gets promoted, and when he gets promoted, he is again filled with more challenges, responsibilities for next assignment or next job. So this is what is job rotation. Coming to the next point, HR records, research and audit. HR records, research and audit, as the word itself speaks, making a complete record of your total human resource, or we can say your complete workforce, auditing them. Auditing them means that whether having a check time to time that whether we are out of stock or not, because if we are falling out of stock or we are having lack of employee, then at the time of an extreme emergency or at the time of an extreme profit gaining, we can be at loss. So audit help us to know that whether we are having proper percentage of employees, or we should recruit more, or we should, sometimes it can also be happen that we are having proper employees, we are having proper number of employees, but they are not placed at right place. So audit can also include promotions, or audit can also include shifting from one place to another. These are the basic work we have to done. Then when I talk about research, research means finding out new talent. Every organization wants to develop, and organization can only develop when you are dealing with new talents, new techniques, new technologies. But this is a very tough task, because making the employees adapted with new technologies, new techniques is very tough. You have to train them, you have to develop them, you have to provide them a proper time so that they can also be well versed with that particular technology what you want. As I have told in the previous sessions also, shifting from manual to computerized work was a very tough task, and many of the organizations faced various challenges, because earlier the workforce or the employees were not so familiar with the computer. They were doing all the jobs, all the tasks manually. So now suddenly shifting from manual to computer become very tough for them. So organizations, what they does, they give training sessions, they organize proper classes of computers to them, and how to work on computers, how to manage the records, how to keep the accounts, blah blah, everything was there. So this is next part we come to. Now when we are talking about then HR information system. Now the next topic says HR information system. When I talk about HR information system, then we are talking about an information system which will be providing information regarding human resource. Because every organization have a large workforce, or we can say a large task force that will be doing work for the organization for achieving or accomplishment of organizational goals. Now the word information used here means that every employee can have some problem at a time, or the organizational head want to say something to the employees also. So how this information system should be maintained, it is a difficult task. Now what we have to do is, for this only we have given responsibilities, or we are having HR managers at various levels. What they are doing, they are knowing about if any kind of complaint from the organization or any kind of complaint from the employee, so that the complaint from the employee can be sent to the organizational heads, or the complaint from organizational heads can be sent to the employees. Because until unless we will be knowing about the problem either from the organizational point of view or from the employee point of view, it will be not easy for us to solve that problem, to resolve that problem, or to find solution for that problem. So to find solution for that problem, what we have to do is, we have to make the things very clear to the employees, and we must have a chain or a linking pin between employee and organizational head, and that pin should be so connected that neither of the information should be left unheard by the employer head, or nor of the message should be left unheard by the employees. Because when you are not providing proper information, or information flow from lower to top or from top to lower is missing, it means that it can lead to a great problem, and that problem we does not want to arrive in our organization. For this only HR information system is there. Next, moving to integration. Integration means coordination, a strong bond between the employees and the employer, and if that bond is absent, it means neither the employee nor the employer, they are attached with each other. So we have to maintain that bond, and we have to be integrated. We have to all have to be joined together, so that organization can perform very well. First point says industrial relations. When I talk about industrial relations, then we are talking about relations within the industry and outside the industry should be maintained in a proper manner. Because you never know when you require the help or cooperation from other industries also, but if your industrial relations are not well, they are not sound, then in that case you will be not getting any kind of help from outside. So to do this thing, to avoid any kind of mismatches or any kind of problems, industrial relations should be very cordially and smoothly maintained. Next we come to discipline. Discipline, yes, organization must be disciplined, because a systematic manner work is a good work, or you can say perfect work. And if you are not having discipline in your organization, then all the things will be in a haphazard manner. They will be topsy-turvy. You will be not able to know that what we have to do and what is going on. So to avoid such critical situations, to avoid such problematic situations, what we have to do, we have to maintain a discipline in the organization. And when you will be having a discipline in the organization, a system will also be existing. Everything will be going on as per the system. all the information, all the work, all the tasks, all the job will be done in a systematic manner. And when the things are done in a systematic manner, then they don't require to be much inspected, they are not required to be very much supervised, and we have good work within the organization. Next we move to grievance redressal. Grievance that should not occur in the minds of any employee in an organization, because grievances are the main root cause for any kind of big problem to be exist or arrive in an organization. So grievance redressal or a grievance redressal machinery or mechanism should be there in an organization. As the grievance arise or as the grievance arrive, it should be resolved at that particular point only. It should not be linger on or taken on to further bad situations, to further worse situations, because grievances basically means complaints, or we can say dissatisfaction within the employees. Now it can be due to any of the reasons. Sometimes pay scale becomes a cause of grievance. Sometimes the behavior of top level authorities become a cause of grievance. Sometimes timings of the organization become a cause of grievance, or sometimes extra efforts are not paid or extra work is not paid, and this becomes a cause of grievance within the employees. Now what we have to do, we have to develop a proper mechanism or a machinery, grievance redressing machinery should be developed, and that should work very effectively. The very moment the grievance is being arrived and it comes into the knowledge of the HR manager or seniors, it should be redressed at that level only. Next we come to dispute settlement. Dispute can be among the employees also. Sometimes dispute can occur among the employees also. You can't say that dispute will be always within employee and employer. No, dispute can also occur among the employees also. If any kind of dispute you come to know, or if any kind of dispute occurs within the employees, then that dispute should be settled. We should have a mechanism or process settling the dispute, that to be reported to the top level authorities, or it should be reported at middle level by the senior managers. Next we come to dispute among employer and employee. When we have dispute among employer and employee, then both the parties are to be have to be sit together. They have to discuss the matter, and they have to reach at some consensus. Because until unless you are reaching at some consensus, both the parties are not satisfied, then dispute cannot be settled. So for this only, what we have to do, we both the parties sit together, and the third party who is there to listen both of them and to come to a decision, that is dispute settlement. Now collective bargaining. Collective bargaining basically means discussion among both the parties and then reaching to a decision, that is collective bargaining. Collective bargaining means when we are collectively sitting together, discussing on a dispute, deciding on something, and come up with something which is agreed by both the parties, that is collective bargaining. And collective bargaining is an important part, aspect or role in an organization, because many times we have to go through this process of collective bargaining. Collective bargaining can also be taken as third party listening to the disputes of both the parties, listening to both the parties, and then coming to a decision. That can also be said to be collective bargaining. So, but collective bargaining basically deals with both the parties sitting together and they are collectively coming to a conclusion that will be accepted by both of them. So, this was all about operative functions of HRM. I have tried to make you clear the topics in brief, because in the coming syllabus we will be going to discuss all these points in a detailed manner, but what I have done today, I have made you clear in brief, so that when we will be discussing them, studying them in detail, we will be clear with the basics of all these points. Next we come to significance of HRM. Now, when I talk about significance or importance of HRM, as we have discussed so much in the previous sessions about HRM, then significance must be a little bit clear to all of you. Because HRM is, we can say, such a department, or we can say HRM is such a task in an organization that is very, very, very important. When your workforce, employee or your human resource are not well managed, they are having some or other kind of problem, then we don't think that that organization will be surviving for a long time, that organization will be going for higher profits, that organization will be having a goodwill in the society, because your human resource is the main force which is carrying your word of publicity. The word of mouth or your publicity will be through your employees only, because employees carry a message about the organization to the outside world, and if that message is not positive, it is reflecting the negative aspect of the organization, then it becomes very difficult for an organization to gain respect or to become image, to gain image in the society. So talking about significance of HRM, what we have done, I have divided the significance into 4 basic categories. Significance for an enterprise, professional significance, social significance and national significance. Because significance for an enterprise will be only limited within the organization. It is only limited within the organization. It is not at all dealing with any external factor. When I talk about professional significance, it is only related with to the professionals who are dealing with HRM, who are working for as HRM or who are dealing with HR in an organization. Only we are talking about those professionals. Then social significance, now it comes to the society. Why HR is important for the society? It has to be studied because society is mostly affected by the human resource of an organization. And if you are having a good human resource, a good task force, then the society will also be parallelly benefited. Society will also be getting very, very good lessons from your human resource, because human resource carry your image with themselves. Your employees are your ambassadors. They are sometimes your brand ambassadors, because they are knowing about you and your organization that which society is not knowing. So your employees are also your brand ambassadors sometimes. Then when I talk about national significance for the nation, why HRM is important for the nation? Why should we connect HRM with nation? So let's study significance of HRM. In that, first point says significance of HRM for an enterprise or for an organization. Point 1 says attracting and retaining the required human resource, recruitment and selection, placement, orientation, compensation and promotion policies. You can see all those points which are very important for an employee are all covered over here. In an enterprise, HR manager has to perform all those points related to your employee. He has to attract and retain. Yes, once your labor force or workforce is retained with you for many years and years, it means that you have created goodwill within their heart. You have created your work within their mind. They are totally dedicated and attached to you only. So attracting and retaining, both the words are very important from HR point of view. You have to attract your employee. You have to keep your employee within a magnetic force within you. The organization sometimes should work like a magnet, because until unless that magnetic force is absent in an organization, your employee will not be any much more attracted towards you. They will not be retaining. You will be having labor turnover, you will be having absentees, and to avoid all this, you must have good HR. Next, human requirement, recruitment selection. We have discussed earlier also. Recruitment selection is the basic concept for an HR as an enterprise. In an enterprise, these two jobs has to be done very frequently. Then placement we have also discussed, putting the right person at right place. Orientation, making the new employee or new joinee familiar with the organization. That is what is known as orientation program. Compensation and promotion policies. When we talk about compensation and promotion policies, then we are talking about what to pay, about salaries, about wages and promotion of the employees. That how employees should be promoted, how designation should be decided, how one employee should be promoted to the next designation, what extra responsibilities, what extra things in job should be added. Moving to the next point, developing the skills and necessary attitude among the employees by T&E and performance evaluation should be developed and trained as per the requirement of the organization, because every employee is not perfect. He is not covering all the aspects. Sometimes the organization which I have previously worked is not working same like in the organization which I am presently working. So to align with the job, task and work of the organization, I have to be trained and developed. So the second point is related with training and development only, and it is also the work of an enterprise, because this has to be done within the enterprise itself, training and developing your employees. When your employees are not trained and developed timely, then it can lead to backwardness in your work. It can lead to outdated technologies, or it can lead to outdated techniques. So to move parallelly with the society, to move parallelly with the economy, what you have to do is you have to train and develop your employee time to time, and that training and development should be given by experts. Experts should visit your organization. They should give their expert training to your employees, so that your employees should develop, and they must develop the whole organization, because as we have discussed also, only organizational development is not an individual task. It can be done solely by a single person. It is a group effort that should be done by each and every team member who is working in that organization, and collectively organization will be developed. Providing them social and job security by grievance handling, motivating and participating in management. Next important point, yes, very right, you have to handle the grievance very well. Employees should also be participated in the decision making, and you should provide them social and job security, because once the employee is working with a fear that he don't know when he will be making out of the gate, then he will be never giving you his maximum output. You will be lacking for that particular maximum output, because until unless you are making your employee fully secured, fully safe, till that moment your employee will also be not giving you his maximum. He will be not able to contribute best to the organization, because he will be under a fear. He will be always feeling panic that when I should be make out of the gate, or when I should be asked to quit the organization, never know. Next we come to utilizing effectively the available human resources. The available human resources should be optimally utilized. You should utilize them up to the maximum level, so that none of the human resource should be remain untouched, and at the same time their skills, their qualities should also be polished time to time, because once your human resource is left untouched, their skills and qualities also get rusted, and that has to be polished then again. But when you are making maximum use of your human resource, but as per their working capacity. It doesn't mean that you should ask your employee to work for hours and hours without any break on a daily basis. No. As per their working capacity, you should ask your employee to work, and that should be kept into mind on a regular basis, because when we are not keeping all these things into mind, it can be a great problem for us. Then ensuring that the enterprise will have in a future a team of competent and dedicated employees. Now for future preparation is to be done today. If you are not preparing yourself today to have a good, qualified, dedicated and competent team, then you will be not having the results in the coming future. So if you want that your team should be competent enough, your team should be qualified, your team should be dedicated, and they must be having a sense of belongingness or attachment towards the organization. You have to prepare yourself today only by providing the best which you can give to them. So these were all the points covering significance of HRM for an enterprise. Why HRM is important for an enterprise, we have covered under following these 5 points. In this, I have tried to cover all the aspects which are considered for HRM within an enterprise. Every aspect, every topic, every title, every function I have covered over there. Moving to the next, significance of HRM, professional significance. When I talk about professional significance, then we are talking about significance for professionals, the persons who are using this, who are HR, who are the HR managers, and they are using this as a function and they are functioning. They are managing the workforce. They are maintaining the task force for an organization. In this, first point says providing maximum opportunities for personal development of each employee. Yes, employee should be given equally opportunity to get benefited, to get developed. Because after a certain time period, every employee want to be promoted. He or she want to have add on some more responsibilities into his job, some more responsibilities into his rotational task, because until unless you have you are adding on responsibilities and authorities, then your employees also not develop. They also keep on moving with the same track. They also keep on doing that same routine manner job, and they don't want to do anything extra. But what we want that our employees should be developed. They must do something extra. They must develop themselves. So for this, every employee should be given an opportunity for development. Maintaining healthy relationships among individual and different work groups. Yes, healthy relationship means good, cordial and smooth relations, because when the relations among the employees are not cordial and smooth, then they will be not able to talk to anyone. They will be not able to communicate with anyone, and this conversation among the employees is very important, because sometimes what happens, we are filled of any kind of tension or pressure, and then we are not interested for our job. But if we are having someone who can talk to us and to whom we can talk and share our things, then we feel totally relaxed. That mental pressure is totally bust out, and we don't have such types of problem. But if you are not having any such person in the organization, then you burst out due to that mental pressure. So the relations among employees should be cordial and smooth. Moving to the next, allocating work properly. Allocating work properly only means that according to specialization. Because if you are asking your employee to do the work which they don't know or they have done earlier, then it becomes very tough for them to do if the work is not according to their area of specialization. You can allot the work, but keeping in mind that his or her area of specialization should be covered. He or she does not ask to do those tasks which are not his or her area of specialization. This is 360-degree alignment process by Rosario Longo, HR professionals, which shows vertical alignment, horizontal alignment, transverse alignment, cultural alignment, shared values and benefits, overall business studies, HRM practices, and employee wants and expectation. This is significance of HRM for professional, because we are covering all those things. I have covered all those aspects which are required by an employee, and they should be understood by a professional. Because if a professional or HR manager is not able to understand what their employee want, what they want from their organization, then HR will not able to provide the same to them. And again, if you are not able to provide, then it will lead to grudges, dissatisfaction, and bring grievances within the employee. So to avoid all this, what we have to do, we have to consider all those basic major points which are the requirement of an employee. Moving to the next, social significance. Social significance means that significance or importance for the society. Why? Why HRM is important for the society? Why? What to do? Why we have to keep in mind about the society? Our HR peoples are working for us. Our human resource or workforce is working for us, not for the society. So why it is to be important? Why? It is important. Social significance is also very important of an organization to the society. Let's know why. Sound human resource management has a great significance for the society. It helps to enhance the dignity of labor in the following way. Dignity of labor. Yes, when an organization is giving respect or he is treating their labor in a dignified manner, then only the labor will be getting respect in the society also. Because if organization is not giving respect to the labor, then society will also be not giving respect to the labor. This will be the main cause why HRM is also socially significant, important. Coming to the next, providing suitable employment that provides social and psychological satisfaction to the employee, to the people. Your employment or your job should be of such manner that it should never create, a sense of insult, a sense of disrespect, or a sense of that why I am doing this job. Any kind of discontentment should not be there among the people in your organization. The jobs should be such designed and they should be allocated in such a manner that the person who is performing those jobs, he is fully satisfied. If Mr. A is doing the job of a peon, then he must be satisfied. Yes, my qualification and my eligibility criteria make me fulfill only for this job. If Mr. B is working as a manager, then he must be satisfied. Yes, my eligibility criteria, my credentials, my quality, my characteristics make me suitable for this job only. Because if you are not keeping this thing into mind that the job allocated to your people is according to their requirement, their eligibility, their qualification, then it can bring a type of dissatisfaction. And this satisfaction can lead the organization to great losses. For this, what we have to do? We have to be very much prepared. We have to go systematically before allocating the job, and I'll again repeat, the area of specialization or expertise should be kept into mind. They should be always keep into mind that the following person is of that specialization, next person is of that specialization, and work should be allocated according to that. Next, maintaining a balance between the job available and job seekers in the term of numbers, qualification needs and aptitudes. Right now the position which is going on in the society is we are having less number of job positions, but we are having many number of job seekers. So a balance should be maintained between this job available or job seekers. Because until unless such balance is maintained, we will be having those who are eligible, those who are qualified, they are sitting idle, and those who are not eligible, those who are not qualified, they are having the job. So to avoid such conditions, what we have to do is we have to make a proper balance between the two. The job available, whatever job we are having with us, and the qualifications, eligibility of the job seekers should be matched. They should be matched parallelly, because if both the things are matched parallelly, then we also will be able to provide the job in a justified manner. Because justification is required at every place. If you are not justifying the things, then it means that you are doing something which is, morally not good, which is unethical. So to avoid this thing, both the aspects should be matched with each other. Then eliminating waste of human resource through conservation of physical and mental health. Yes, we should avoid means waste of human resource. We should eliminate, we should remove. If I found that so and so people are, they are left idle in the organization or they are doing nothing, then such people should be eliminated, because here what we are doing, we are wasting both physical and mental health. Their physical and mental health both will be affected. So to avoid this thing, what we have to do, we have to study our job, we have to have a complete study of our human resource and think and make a proper chart that whether we are having waste of our human resource or not, and if we found such waste, then that should be eliminated, that should be not done in the organization. Because we are here to consume the human resource, we are not here to waste the human resource. Human resource includes both the aspect, whether physical or mental, and both the aspects should be properly utilized. Because if you are not having aspect properly utilized, then it can be a problem for the organization. Because once the person is not properly utilized, his physical and mental health will be disturbed. He will be not anymore, he will be not at all beneficial for the organization. So we should avoid such conditions. So here we wind up with significance of HR. Next we come to national significance. National significance means how HRM is important for a nation. Nation means our complete economy. Because this labor force or this workforce which is comprising, which is giving so much to the organization, they are also giving less or more to the nation also. They are also providing much to the nation also. So for this, how we deal with this or how they are contributing, let's study here. Human resource and their management plays a vital role in the development of a nation. Because if human resource develop, nation develop. The effective exploitation and utilization of a nation's natural, physical and financial resources require an efficient and committed manpower. If you want to use the financial, natural and physical resources of your nation, then you need a committed manpower, dedicated manpower. Because if you are not having a dedicated or committed team, then you will be not able to utilize those resources which are available with us for a longer time. They will be wasting those resources, and that we have to avoid. We don't have to waste any of our resources, because wastage of resources can lead to move us from our main goal, that is sustainable development also. Sustainable development, we are moving with the goal of sustainable development, and that can be only eliminated if we are having committed and good workforce. There are wide differences in development between countries are with similar resources due to difference in the quality of their people. Yes, countries are having same development, but they are not developing. Why? Because they were not having a good workforce. So that workforce does not work properly up to that mark which is required. So country A developed and country B remains undeveloped. Why? Because their workforce or their labor does not work appropriately up to the need. Now, if your workforce or your team members are not working appropriately as per the requirement, then how you will be well developed? You will not be able to develop. Because if you want to develop yourself, then what you have to do? You need your workforce to be committed and dedicated. Next, countries are underdeveloped because their people are backward. The level of development in a country depends primarily on their skills. Yes, the same thing. Many of the countries remain backward. They are not developing. Why? Because their workforce or their people are also not developed. They are not developing any kind of quality. They are not developing any kind of skill among them that can be used for the development of the nation. And due to this only, their nation also remains undeveloped. Effective management of human resource helps to speed up the process of economic growth, which in turn leads to higher standards of living and fuller employment. Yes, when you are having a good workforce, you are having a good human resource, then your economy will grow, and when your economy will grow, your level of lifestyle or your standard of living will also be raised. It will also be appreciated. But if your people, they don't want to develop, they don't want to develop new skills among them, then it is not at all possible. Last point, human resource management is the central subsystem of an organization. Central, as our body have a nervous system, in the same manner, human resource is the central subsystem of an organization, and if this central subsystem is very well controlled, managed, then the whole organization is very well managed. The whole organization develops and the whole organization gains more profitability, because the system which is existing in the center, it is systematic. It is working in such a manner that it is leading to more and more efficiency to other departments and other parts of the organization. But if the thing lying in the center is not systematic, it is not working properly, it is not disciplined, then it will not be leading others to be disciplined. And so these are the basic 4 points of national significance, why human resource is nationally important. We should not say that our human resource does not have any relation with the nation. No, our human resource has relation with the nation, because the development of human resource leads to the development of the nation. The development of the human resource leads to the development of the organization, and all the organization collectively develop the nation. From where the nation is getting revenues, taxes, from where the nation is getting the profits, from where it is earning, and organizations is the main source of earning. If I talk about various number of taxes the government levy on us, in it much percentage is also contributed by the organization. But if the organization is not having a well developed workforce, then he will be not able to pay so much. In this manner, a good task force and his organization leads to the development of the nation. Now this is simply a graph which is showing the national significance of HRM. HRM in the center, it is a subsystem. Then we have finance subsystem related to it. Then we have material subsystem related to it. Then we have marketing subsystem related to it. We have technical subsystem, and all these 4 subsystems are interrelated, and HRM, which is lying in center, is managing all those 4 systems in a systematic manner. In this manner, national significance of HRM can be studied. Because if HRM is not lying in the center, then these all systems cannot be managed. We cannot be having a well disciplined and systematic system existing. So this was national significance of HRM, and these are the consequences or result if we are having a good HRM for nation. These are the following points: increase in size of organization, example MNCs and all we are having. Rise of professional knowledge we are having. Scope of legislation will also be increasing. Revolution in the information technology IT sector. Rapidly changing jobs and skills required. Manpower planning. Growing expectations society from the employers. So this is done. This is all for today.